So let's finally talk about 65.
Sure.
I'll do the synopsis first, right? And because we are late to the party, this will be a spoiler review. I'm sorry, but I mean this has been out for like what since last month. So
Did this show in theaters?
it's still showing in Caribbean cinemas by me, and I believe
Oh,
in
okay.
South Park
Right.
as well too. But
Okay. So I didn't check. So I didn't know.
quite shockingly, well, actually not surprising to me actually, it only has like a late what's that? Oh, let me just call it a night screening, right? So it only has this
Right. Right. Right.
9:30 screening, and seeing it for
Yeah. Yeah.
myself, yeah, I could definitely see why, right? So here's
Yeah.
the thing, right? I believe it was early this year. Yeah, it was early this year with the first trailer for this drop, right? And while it didn't blow my mind or anything like that, right? Just the mere idea of someone like Adam Driver, right? Who, will always be known as Kylo Ren, right? From the Star Wars series, right? You know, on Earth, I'll talk about that in a second, going up against dinosaurs.
Okay.
Something about that just came off, like it just came off as campy and pulpy, right? So it was just the
Right.
sell of it, right? It's him on this planet, with fighting off dinosaurs, right? That's some John Carter of Mars, or
Yeah.
Flash Gordon kind of stuff, right? Or me,
Yeah.
that kind of vibe, right? So, but it wasn't really anything else outside of Adam Driver standing, right? So seeing from the writers of A Quiet Place and
Mm.
producer Sam Raimi, I'm like, all right, well, but who directing this?
Listen.
As
Listen.
only after the fact I see,
When they hear from the producers of, that is a red flag. Immediate red flag.
I know,
When they pushed out. When they
yeah,
tell it who the producer, like, okay, I mean, producer don't mean nothing. Whatever.
you know,
I mean, in terms
but
of money, it means something, but not the creativity. That is a bad thing.
exactly. But as we see from the writers of A Quiet Place,
All
they're
right.
the ones who actually direct this. This is Scott
Oh,
Frank
well, that is a
and
bad
Brad
thing.
Woods.
Yeah.
So up there, and they just real hyping it up, like from the writers of A Quiet Place, right? And I mean, I really enjoy A Quiet Place. I'm not in
Yeah.
love with it, but I really enjoy it, right? That and the sequel as well,
Yeah.
right? But that's not a good draw for something like this. Adam Driver, however, is right.
Yeah.
So much to my surprise, last week now this thing drops digitally. So I say, okay, I don't need to see it in theaters. Like I was hearing through the grapevine that it didn't get any good reviews at all. So I
Right.
just held back on it. So I stay home and I watch it, right? Last night, actually, to be precise. So what it's about? So we are introduced to Mills, right? Who's played by Adam Driver, right? We see his wife and we see his daughter, who's played by Chloe Coleman, which is funny because we last saw her
Last of Us,
actually in
right.
Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh, no, right,
That's
right,
her.
right. Sorry, I was confusing her with I confused her with Joe daughter in Last of Us. Yes, she was in Dungeons and Dragons. Right, sure.
Yeah. Oh, we'll talk about Last of Us. We will talk about Last of Us with this, right?
Right.
For real, yeah. So we learn that, with Mills's daughter is sick, right? Because
Right. Right.
in typical movie fashion, she has that cough, and
Get a
when
call.
they
Yeah.
cough in between sentences, that's a red flag right there, right? And we learn that Mills have this job, but basically it's just, but it took me a while to really understand what's going on, right? So basically, his job, right? Because it's in the future, at least that's what we assume
No,
at
it's
first,
in the
right?
past actually.
All right, that's what I say. That was about to say. We assume at first, right? So because
Right.
they
Right. Right. Right.
actually on another planet, right? That was
Right.
that was
Well,
that was
the thing is,
good,
the
right?
trailer, the trailer spoil it, because the mere fact they use it with 65. I like, all right, well, it's 65 million years ago, and it's some kind of ancient civilization shit going down, right? That's what I thought. Kind
Yeah,
of. So
yeah, but
unfortunately,
I
spoil it.
hated that the trailer had to give away the million years ago. Because
Right.
honestly, that would have been a great reveal in the film, right?
And
But
you
even
would have been
in the
able to,
film itself, they spoil it. Like at the
yeah.
like when they show credits, it's like, well, it's 65 million years ago. In
No,
case you
I
didn't see
didn't
the
mind.
trailer, like,
I
really?
wasn't expecting them to do like some like twist, because the mere fact is seeing dinosaurs. Like, look, again, nerds like me who understand biology know that, look, the probability of you seeing dinosaurs on some other planet or something like that is highly unlikely. Therefore, it had to be that. That is our dinosaurs in our history. Blah blah blah. But you could have, for trailers, you could have say, all right, 65 space, but he fighting dinosaurs. You don't guess how we're going on already. So it's like that's the problem. It's super easy to speculate about. I don't know. It's just me. Uh,
No, no, I understand, right?
right.
So yeah, so his job pretty much is to find planets to colonize, right?
Right.
And it takes a lot of time. So there's a subplot involving how frustrated his daughter is, that Mills is spending so much time away from her, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the mom is well, the wife is, understands all this, right? But she, well, the daughter is number, well, she kind of understands at some points, but at other times she doesn't. But that's just really because she's going through the sickness, right? So long story short, he's on this ship, just navigated the ship. There's some other people who are in cryo sleep. There's this
Right.
meteor
So he's like
shower,
what?
and
He's like a courier, right? Not really so much. He's
yeah,
both.
yeah, yeah.
It's also unclear what his job
Yeah,
is exactly.
yeah. It was unclear to me too. But yeah, he technically he's a pilot. Well, yeah, he's a pilot, of course, right? But yeah, technically he's a courier as well too, right?
Right.
So yeah, he runs into a meteor shower. Of course, one of the meteors, what the rocks or whatever, hits the ship. Ship crashes, and we learn that it's on Earth because once we see that title card, at the bottom, million years ago, and I'm like,
Right.
oh god, really? Sorry, million years ago on Earth, and then
Right.
they like dissolve everything and leave Earth at the bottom. I'm like, really, movie? Oh gosh, man, like, oh gosh, you don't have to read it, spell it for us, man, Jesus,
Yeah.
right? But anyway, so yeah, he's alive now. He's running on supply. Sorry, he have a particular gun. I'll talk about that gun too. And a
Yeah.
few other
A
things.
Mass Effect gun.
Yeah. I'll talk about that gun, right? Yeah. But actually there's a survivor of that crash, right? And it just so happens to be this girl. But she's speaking in this foreign language. I assume it's
Right.
invented for the show itself, right?
Right. Well,
So yeah, right.
I think what happens is that they have a universal translator breakdown. Like usually Star Trek, universal translator.
Yeah, yeah,
They
and
break
well,
down.
he actually says, my translator broke, right? So he can't understand what she's saying, right?
Right.
So yeah, we get that Joe and Ellie is L, right? Yeah, Joe and Ellie thing, Joel
Yeah.
and Ellie's thing basically from The Last of Us, where it's like, yeah, what I mean, you're like my surrogate daughter here, and we have to survive because there's dinosaurs about, but we need to get from where we are to where remnants of the ship is because there's a escape pod that we could go there and we could fly out, right? But here's the catch though, because of the setting of this particular scenario. Yeah, the ice age, or I should say it's the ice age, right? The beginning of the
No,
ice
no,
age
it's
about the thing.
Cretaceous period.
Well, Cretaceous
It's
period, sorry,
long
right,
before
right,
the
right.
Ice Age. Ice Age is our time.
Right, right,
Yeah,
right. Where essentially, yeah, this large meteor, the same meteor from before, is going to crash land now and just pretty much wipe out pretty much
right,
everything, right? In its area, right? And I'll
right.
stop there, right?
So it's presumed that he's somewhere in Mexico, right? Well, where Mexico is now, because that's where the meteor hit in history.
Okay, okay.
Yeah,
That
well,
that I did not know. That I did not know.
Yucatan, yeah.
Oh, right, right, right. Yeah, I remember that term. Yeah, right. So, if you don't mind, right, I'll just do just my review of it, right? And
Yeah,
I can say I gotta get to spoilers, right? So here's the thing, right? On paper, this is a pretty solid pitch, right? Again, you have
yeah,
a bankable star, and he's doing this, right? But the moment I saw that runtime of 93 minutes, I was like,
yeah,
wait, nah, so short, boy.
yeah, yeah.
And that is just one of the many problems with this show, boy, right? So to be fair, right, this is not like the worst thing ever made. You could tell that they put effort into it, but all right, so the things that are wrong with, well, just to get the good out of the way, right? Adam Driver, he's good. He's good for the role. He does his stoic thing, but he's the responsible dad as well too, and he feels bad because, well, not surprised, not surprising, his daughter dies, right? But that's off screen, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So he feels like kind of way about it because he wasn't there to take care of her. So here he has his chance with this girl, right? This girl by the name of Core, right? That's the name, right? So you get that Last of Us kind of vibe thing going on, right? So also too, just other good to get out of the way. Cinematography, not bad.
It looks
Sound
okay.
design,
Yeah,
not bad. It,
yeah.
it, it look fine for what it is,
It
right?
look good, yeah.
Yeah. So just to get to the flaws now, because yeah, there's some flaws in this, right? The major one in this though is just how bland and by the numbers this premise is though. For
Yeah.
something like this though, it just goes by so quickly, and then by let me just say an hour or two or even earlier, you kind of forget half of what was going on, right? I'll give you an example. The show starts with Adam and his family, right, on this planet, right? Somaris, I believe the name of it is, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I know
Right.
halfway into the movie, I forgot that was where the story started,
Yeah, but
because
it's so unimportant here.
exactly because they could have just easily show you that they are indeed on this planet instead of just giving me, a title card, see that, oh, we're on this planet and here we on this, not even a beach, but just like this rocky area, but you see like a pond basically where, Adam's character and, well, the three people are there basically, right? The family, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, you could have shown me more of that because in my mind, right? And again, I wish that I'd stayed focused on this, but because of how bland the show was, I couldn't help it. I honestly thought at a point in time later on in the show that they were on Earth initially, And I thought that when the whole meteor shower thing take place at the crash land, I thought that was some kind of weird time loop thing that they was going on. Here's the reason why I thought so, right? Because I erroneously assumed that, when upon seeing the dinosaurs themselves, right? I thought that at least Adam's character would have known what they were, like
Right.
that's why I made the joke on Facebook. I said like in Jeopardy contestant like manner, what are dinosaurs? Like nobody brings up the word dinosaurs at all in the show though,
Yeah, because it's not. I mean, the word dinosaur is our word, so it's not from Earth or wherever it is. Like, in fact, it's probably not even in their evolutionary history at all. That's why I don't really mind. It's an alien planet as far as they're concerned.
Right. Yeah. But because
go
it
ahead.
didn't establish things well enough, I honestly forgot that he was on a different planet to begin with, right?
Right.
So that's one thing. Also, no disrespect to the writers slash directors, but this thing looked cheap, boy. This thing looked really cheap, and I have this weird assumption, right? Because earlier this year we got a little song called Plane, right? Which had Mike Coulter,
Right.
Derek Butler, right? A little cheap looking film, right? But I wait to go. This movie here, 65, only have four cast members in it.
Yeah,
Everybody else is just
yeah.
extras, and them
It's
them
kind of
was in
weird.
Cryo Street. It was weird. It was real weird, but you know what I mean.
It's small.
But
Because it feel like it. I mean, it feel like a COVID film, yeah. So that's why it didn't bother me too much.
okay,
Uh,
all right, yeah,
it felt like a little COVID film at times.
yeah.
At times. But
Right. Yeah, but it's just so small scale enough for something like this, right? So yeah, I'm just watching this and you really see it, unfortunately, with the creature effects, right? Now I understand they're not trying to follow the Jurassic Park route and give us raptors and T-Rexes, even though you
yeah,
see that you get
that's fine.
more,
That's one thing I felt they
older
should have
versions of
done.
dinosaurs in
What
this.
I felt they should have done is try to make the effort to make dinosaurs more. Okay, so this is one of the problems with that, right? Yeah, dinosaurs don't look like that, right? So like I don't know why they did
Yeah,
that still. So I don't know why they could. But
because
then
that's how
again,
we associate dinosaurs with these days, right? Well,
yeah, but that's the problem too. But that's the problem too is that dinosaurs not that dangerous either. Like they ain't as dangerous. They can't be because basically need to make them the xenomorphs, right? Um,
Hmm.
but if it was a guy just in the wilderness, that would have been much more interesting because it still had predators and creatures that was dangerous. So they could have fight
Yeah.
up and try to do that. I'm not sure, but
Yeah. Well,
yeah,
to the show's credit, they do have like these creepy looking bugs. Like one in particular, one moment that really like had an effect on me was one that went into the girl's mouth though and like
yeah,
was like sucking her through the tongue. Like that shit looked creepy AF too. Like I won't
Yeah.
like that was that moment like stopped me in my tracks now.
Yeah.
But everything else was just like been there, seen that. If you've seen a Jurassic Park movie, if you saw a Jurassic World movie,
right.
yeah, none of it works, right?
Yeah.
One big moment in particular, right? Which kind of explains what I'm talking about, right? You saw it in the trailer where the scene is alarm going off, right? Real alien, like the first alien, the beep 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 beep, beep, and it just keeps increasing, right?
Yeah.
And they in a cave and there's a waterfall, and they all thinking that this threat is coming from inside the cave, but no, obviously, is coming from outside, right? And you see the T-Rex. You don't even see much of the T-Rex at this point. You just see like a lightning flash. I see the T-Rex raw, and it just run inside, and like the whole tension just goes now because it's not like the T-Rex is chasing them or whatever. It just kind of stops after a few seconds, right?
Right.
And that's another thing. Like there was like while there was trying to build tension, but I didn't really feel it that much because it was just so by the numbers. It's just stuff you've seen before, right? I will give them credit for the whole bugs thing, but like if you saw King Kong, that's the Peter Jackson version, or even Skull Island. Yeah, I mean that's familiar shit, right? As I say, Last of Us, I felt that there was a missed opportunity in terms of just developing a relationship between Mills and Cora, right? It just kind of came off as, do you understand what I'm saying? Okay, water, drink some water. Don't do this, don't do that, right? And she's trying to communicate with him, but, it's that kind of thing. again, been there, seen that before, but it just kind of goes as far as, okay, we just need to survive that. So there's no like real bond that
Correct.
like again, just going back to the whole, father daughter thing, right? And speaking of that too, right? While I admire the effort in trying to make things feel emotional and whatnot, um, it's not that it don't work at all, but it's just that I didn't really feel it. I felt like it just took itself way too seriously, right? For
Correct.
something that is primarily pulpy, right? And I felt like, yeah, and a lot of people will see this. It could have leaned a little bit more on the pulpiness of it, right? I'm not expecting it to be campy and, over the top and silly. Like, I'm not asking for Battlefield Earth, right? But
Right.
just something where you could kind of have fun with the premise, boy. But this one was just like, all right, well, we need to really stress on here about how bad Mills is feeling because his daughter died, and we have this
Yeah, they try to make
montage
it. They make it too
with her
serious.
getting
Yeah.
sick. I just feel like, all right,
Yeah.
I get it, Fred, but
What is
92
okay?
minutes, like what's your runtime? You're just stopping the show to make me feel that kind of way, like, bro,
Right.
what's your
So you know what?
runtime now?
Yeah. So what does feel like to me? It feel like a mixer. So this is a quick explanation. So there was a show that felt like a 70s sci-fi. It feel like a 70s sci-fi, but they updated with modern special effects. Except that was good. Raised by Wolves, right?
Oh
Good
yeah, yeah,
story,
yeah.
good world building. Season 2 was a little aimless, but still
Mm.
good. But this now is like is it really feel like a old like one of those old 70s sci-fi movies that have a real depressing ending or supposed to be like a real cool premise based on science fiction that we already know, and it really
Mm.
feel like something that a script that come out of mothballs since the
Yeah, yeah.
1970s and they decide to do now. They decide, all right, well, let's just get a script and do it and buy script or whatever it is, like literally like a 50-year-old script or something like that. Because what kind of bothersome for me is like, all right, Jurassic Park has a certain aesthetic for dinosaurs, but it kind of have no excuse to keep doing that inaccurate version of dinosaurs in now because we know dinosaurs don't look like that. Even Jurassic Park, when Crichton wrote it, told people, yeah, dinosaurs not supposed to look like this. Like the whole
Mm.
point is to sell. So why are dinosaurs looking like this naturally? That's my that. Listen, it don't break a movie for me because I get it. You have to use the shorthand for what dinosaurs look like. Everybody's think about Jurassic Park. That's the audience, but I find it can make an effort and really make it a good world in the story, right? So dinosaurs not big giant hulking monsters, but they more work like wolves. Like they're
Mm.
dangerous still, Dinosaurs still dangerous and would fuck you up. But you could make them make the effort to have it look more realistic. If this was more scientifically accurate, I'd at least appreciate it. Because like clearly, well, I'm gonna mention another movie that they're kind of trying to go for, but not the same. But it kind of reminds me of a similar conceit. Will Smith shit tongue movie and he brought up with the son after it. Um,
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh,
it had,
yeah,
had that same,
as it crashed landed on Earth, and he was doing
yeah,
the whole distress signal thing. I was
right.
thinking about after Earth.
Yeah, exactly. And so as I said, this is one of those things that just the execution is just kind of bad across the board. Even though yes, you mentioned it's a pretty good premise. It's a shame that they cannot get more talent to do it. And that's the problem. Across the board, a lot of it doesn't work. Mostly the script. They kind of punch up the characterization, punch up this, punch up that. I didn't really care for the action because it's like, all right, well, dinosaurs not supposed to look like that. I couldn't get into it. No.
You know?
I mean, if
Yeah.
if that don't bother you, and again because of the pulpy nature of it, Earth's supposed to look like again a John Carter storyline because same problem I had with John Carter. I couldn't get into John Carter because I know Mars doesn't look like that. So
Right. Okay.
you have to justify why Mars looking like that. And they didn't really do that. They just say no, it's pulpiness. This is what people thought Mars used to look like, or at least the author said or speculated what Mars looked like. It had kingdoms and all that bullshit. Clearly don't have that, but like whatever.
Yeah.
And it's the same
Uh.
problem. They just basically make a pulpy Earth, right? Because it
Yeah.
really feel like an old science fiction. Whatever.
Yeah. Right. Right. Well, there's just couple, right? Before we get to your thoughts, right? Um. I can't believe I even going to see this right now. It might seem like blasphemy for somebody who's into sci-fi like you. This felt really low tech though. You know what I mean? And this is where
Right.
I'll talk about the man about the gun. Yes, I have to talk about weaponry. This, um, on paper, I like the idea of this, this high tech, shotgun, right? That's essentially what it is, right?
Yeah.
But like when you see it in action, boy, it just feels so cheap. It just feel like,
Yeah.
you
It's a
know,
prop. It's
it,
a
it
cheap
it looks like a prop, right?
cheap
You know,
70s prop.
Yeah, boy. I just
Yeah,
watched this thing and you're seeing Adam like just going blah blah blah. And you're
yeah.
like this really so
None of it's
this
convincing.
has no effect, Trey. Like literally,
No,
it has no
I get,
effect. You know what I mean?
I get what he was going for there because it's supposed, as I say, I call it a Mass Effect gun now. Like it's just it's supposed to be light and convenient, and it's supposed to look plasticky because it's
Mhm.
advanced ceramics or whatever it is they're using for it. But again, effects versus reality, and what is how you feel about that. Now in this case, you're supposed to hype up the effects, make it feel thumpy and hard, and it's kind of
Yes.
thing.
Yeah,
It's supposed to be a
think
light,
aliens, for example. Think
right?
aliens and like the weapons they had
Yeah,
there, like something like
but
that. Now,
I
you
get
give
the
me
logic.
this shotgun that it really
Yeah,
doing much when I want to see it in
yeah. But
action.
it's
Yeah.
supposed to be a light gun. Like, the idea is more like, I think of it as a hunter's rifle. It's just a light hunter's rifle that you're walking around with, but it could shoot shotty shots, and it's just a sci-fi hunting rifle. It's just that's why I didn't bother me too much. But
All
again,
right.
it's a
All right.
total Mass Effect gun, but Mass Effect
Yeah.
Andromeda, that kind of gun.
Yeah. And even had little bombs too. And like when you see it in action, like, all right, well, no, okay.
As I said,
You know?
this wouldn't have been a problem if it was more, if it went for a more scientifically accurate aspect of Earth's history. If they did that right, and it was more him just having to survive the ancient wilderness, that would have been fine because it
Yeah,
wouldn't be a
and
problem.
they
But
had the perfect setup too with him coming from another planet.
right, all of that would have been
Yeah,
fine.
right.
But because they have to do, we have to turn dinosaurs into xenomorphs, and they have to make the dinosaurs like Jurassic Park. That's why I didn't care for it, because like, yeah, T-Rexes didn't look like that. Sorry,
Yeah,
they was more feathery and more colorful, and whatever.
yeah. So I'll close up with thoughts with this, right? I see where they're getting at what they do, but
Yeah,
unfortunately, it just kind of comes off like a much more polished sci-fi, as in the station movie
yep,
of the week, right? It
yep.
just kind of feels like
That's
that,
exactly
right?
what you feel
Where
like. Yeah, yeah. Saturday
and
night.
you're right, like something you watch on a Saturday night. It's so funny, I actually watch this movie on a Saturday night, right?
Yeah,
It just feels so low budget though and low tech, like surprisingly so though. Even though I
yeah.
know they pumped like what 45 million or 40 million into this though,
Well,
it
they spend.
still
I
looked
mean,
like
I
weirdly
get the
cheap
feeling
though.
they spend most of the money on probably Adam Driver, just getting Adam Driver. That's the
Yeah,
type
yeah,
of.
had to be, boy. Yeah, and
Yeah,
yeah. I mean, it explains why there's only four people in this cast, though. You know what I mean? But
yeah.
yeah, I am so glad I watched this in my house. I am glad I did not see this in theaters though, because I'd have walk out just forgetting the show. And even as I watch it home, I kind of forget it about it right now, right?
Right.
So rated wise, very, very, very like 2.5 out of 5. See it
Yeah.
if you want to. If you have nothing better to do on a Friday or Saturday night, because yeah, essentially that's what the show is designed for. If you have nothing to do on a weekend night, yeah, watch it, man. But I really don't expect you, sorry, to remember this, hours after seeing this, man. It
Right.
was just so bland and forgettable. But yeah, Ricardo, your thoughts, it could get spoilery. Tell me what work and what don't work, and your
Yeah.
rating.
I didn't. I wasn't too mad about it because I wasn't invested. To be honest, like, it was just fine. Um, as I said, it's a shame that they couldn't just, like, make the better effort and sort it out. In terms of like certain ideas and conceits. That's just me. But as I said, if you could have if they did try to make it a more grounded affair and make it more like personable instead of an action movie and try to do the action shocky thing, I felt it could have worked. That's just my kind of Monday morning quarterbacking about it. But I was it's a real shame because they could have made it more interesting. They could have made it contemplative. There were a lot of sci-fi's like that. And look, it don't belong in theaters. Like, there's some shit you put on Netflix. Sorry. Um, I know I hyping up Netflix. I just hype up Netflix just now. But Netflix is also the place you do the dumping ground stuff for this kind of stuff, right? Same thing with Anthony Mackie have like a show, a couple sci-fis himself, that kind of stuff, right? Like, it's good, and but if you saw it home on Netflix, it would have been fine. It don't
Hmm.
belong in theaters at all. Like, sorry, theaters is a spectacle. Theaters to make it look good. This didn't these. I don't know why they decided to do that, but whatever.
Yeah,
Money,
and
money.
I get it. Just reminds me of like Plane. Plane
Yeah,
was in theaters for weeks, but like when I saw it for myself, I was like, well, I didn't review it, but
yeah,
when I saw it for myself, like, yeah, I glad I watched this shit home, Joe. Like, look at
yeah.
this, but
Exactly. And yeah, so that's how I feel about it. I'm rating like a 5 out of 10, maybe a 6, like a 5. I'll say a 5. It's something that just I felt they should have just made the better effort in sorting out. That was my main concern. Like, I just had a big problem with just saying, right, why is it doing it like this, and why does it this they could have sorted this out, and why they couldn't do again. It still bothered the hell out of me that they couldn't just make it a much more accurate conceit given the sci-fi thing. But whatever, I didn't bother me too much. Moving on, and it's just because I didn't invest myself in it too much. I watch it, it take up my time, But I didn't feel like I wasted my time. And look, I'll admit I didn't pay too much attention to it because I was doing other stuff while watching it. Like it was just there on the other monitor.
Oh
I just
wow.
glimpsed at it. I wasn't paying too much attention, to be honest.
Uh,
But I was just watching it and saying, all right, okay, I'll kind of follow it. Because yeah, you're right. A lot doesn't happen. It just, I could have followed. I could have skimmed through it and still follow the plot for where it was. I didn't miss anything. And every time, like I was slightly some question, I was confused about it. I just glide back and it answered really quick for me. And like, yeah, everything I need to know, I needed to know. And I couldn't get into the mood or anything like that. Should I have gone to theater to see it? No, but it might have improved things maybe. I ain't sure. But that's about it. Yeah, 5. Next.